Okay, hello class, good afternoon today. Welcome to pharmacology class. And today we are going to treat autonomic pharmacology. And I hope you have all come across the autonomic nervous system before, or the nervous system before. So autonomic pharmacology basically is that affects the autonomic nervous system. So as a way of introduction, men ought to know that from nothing else but the brain comes joy, delight, laughter, sport, sorrow, grief, despondency, and lamentation. So from our brain comes all these things. So from our brain comes joy, you become joyful. When you're happy from the brain, you start still from the brain. And by this, in a special manner, we are power wisdom. So we also have power wisdom through our brain or our knowledge. So through our brain, we are power wisdom. We see, we hear, and also our brain controls all these activities, whether you are going to be happy or sad, depends on this organ. So this means that this organ controls a larger part of our activity. So it will be very necessary for us to study how this organ works and how drugs also affect this body organ. Because how drugs affect this body organs will tell us a lot of things about many organs and tissues. So today we are going to be looking at autonomic pharmacology. And our objectives for today will include to know the effect produced by stimulation of pre and post ganglionic fibers. So I'll be introducing you to what we call pre-ganglionic fibers and post ganglionic fibers. So we also know something about the sympathetic system and the parasympathetic system. So when you stimulate the preganglionic neuron of the parasympathetic system, what will happen? When you stimulate that same neuron of the sympathetic nervous system, what will happen? So by way of introduction, we are going to be looking at this as the lecture goes on. We are also going to be able to describe the similarity between the sympathetic, parasympathetic, and the somatic nervous system. You will also be able to describe how drugs influence the life cycle of acetylcholine and norepinephrine. So we're looking at chemical transmitters involved in this nervous system. So autonomic pharmacology. The autonomic nervous system is involved with the control center of the function of involuntary body activity. So the autonomic nervous system is involved with what the control center of function of involuntary body activity. So this means that when it comes to the body, we have voluntary activity. So as I said, the autonomic nervous system is involved with the control center of functions of involuntary body or tissue. So all the involuntary activity that goes on within our body, like how our heart beats, you don't control how your heart beats. You don't control how your lung works. You don't control how your intestine moves. So the autonomic nervous system is responsible for controlling the functions of these involuntary activity. It is also significant. It also has a significant influence over our state of mind, our mood, feelings, and how we respond to when we are fighting or stressed. So the autonomic nervous system also does all these things. So it makes sense that a thorough examination of the way in which the autonomic nervous system is organized and operates will facilitate our understanding of the mechanism of action and other effects of many clinical agents. We'll look at what the autonomic nervous system controls: our mood, our activity, even they control how our heart beats and all that. So it will be very important that we know how this autonomic nervous system works and how drugs affect this nervous system or this system. So then this takes up to organization of the nervous system. So the nervous system can be divided into two main subtypes. The nervous system can be divided into two main subtypes. We have the central nervous. So if you take the nervous system, as I will indicate here with NS or on the board, the nervous system is divided into two main types. We have the CNS, which is the central nervous system, and the peripheral nervous system, the PNS. When you take the CNS, it's subdivided into the brain and the spinal cord. So when you take the CNS, you can subdivide it into the brain and the spinal cord. Then when you come to the PNS, the peripheral nervous system, that one is divided into autonomic nervous system, ANS. Autonomic nervous system, ANS, and somatic nervous system, SNS. So the nervous system can be divided into two: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is divided into the brain and what the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is subdivided into the autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, automatic, they control all involuntary activities that you don't have control over. As I said, you don't have control over how your heart beats. You don't have control over how your intestine works. You don't have control over how your lungs are even working. So that is controlled by what? The autonomic nervous system. So we have autonomic, automatic, they control involuntary activities, what you don't have control over. Then the somatic control the voluntary activity. I can decide to move my muscles how I want. So my hand, I can decide to either flex or extend my hand. I have control over whether I want to flex or what, extend my arm. So the somatic nervous system controls the voluntary activities, and the autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary what, activities. And when it comes to the autonomic nervous system, we have two nerves. We have the afferent nerve and efferent. So we have afferent nerve, and we have what? The efferent what? Nerve. Afferent nerve carries impulses or information to the spinal cord for interpretation, and the efferent nerve brings information from the spinal cord to the effector organ. So we have the effector organ. So afferent sending information to the spinal cord. After interpretation is given, it comes before the efferent nerve. So as a way of recap, I said the central nervous system is divided into the nervous system is divided into the central nervous system and what? The peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is further divided into what? Autonomic nervous system and what? Somatic nervous system. Our focus is going to be on the autonomic nervous system. So I said the autonomic nervous system is also subdivided into the afferent nerve and what? The efferent. Afferent carrying information to the spinal cord, and efferent bringing information from the spinal cord to where? The effector organ. So we are going to concentrate ourselves on the efferent. So the efferent nerves can now be divided into sympathetic and what? Parasympathetic. The information coming to the organ for the organ to take action can now the efferent nerve or the efferent division can now be divided into what? The sympathetic nervous system and what? The parasympathetic. So over here we are going to concentrate more on the sympathetic and what? Parasympathetic. Okay, so now we can move on. The two divisions of the autonomic nervous system are what? The parasympathetic and what? The sympathetic. So we have sympathetic and what? Parasympathetic. The sympathetic mobilize the body during extreme situation, like the fight or flight system. So when there's, let's say in this classroom, when an elephant or a tiger enters into this classroom, we are going to have two responses. Either we get the energy to fight that particular thing, or we run away. So the system responsible for the fight or flight activity is what we call the sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is involved in E activities. E means excitatory activities. So when you are exercising, you know that when you are exercising, all of a sudden your heart rate goes up. The sympathetic nervous system gets what? Activated. When you are excited, when there's an emergency, when there's even an embarrassment, the sympathetic nervous system what? Get activated. So they increase your heart rate, they increase your breathing, and your breathing becomes rapid and deep. So let's say when there's something frightening and you need to run away, you need more oxygen to be able to run. So your lungs will dilate, then you breathe in more, then you'll be able to run. In the sympathetic nervous system, that is what? Activated. And the parasympathetic nervous system, they work in opposite direction. So let's say if the sympathetic nervous system is going to increase your heart rate, the parasympathetic nervous system will decrease or will slow your heart rate. If the sympathetic nervous system is going to dilate your people, because if you want to run, your people have to dilate, so you see from afar that you will be able to run. So the sympathetic will dilate your people, then the parasympathetic nervous system will come and what? Constrict your pupils. So let's say they work antagonistically. Please, are you okay? So they work antagonistically. So please revisit your notes on the autonomic nervous system or your nervous system in physiology. But these are some similar or differences or similarities. Okay. So the autonomic nervous system is the efferent pathway. So I said efferent, bringing information to the effector organ, be it the muscle, the lung, the heart, or any tissue. So the ANS is the efferent pathway controlling the actions of what? Involuntary organs and tissues. So secretion of products from the glands, the rate and force of contraction of the heart muscle, and the contraction and relaxation of the smooth muscles of the bronchial, blood vessel, and the gastrointestinal tract are all controlled by these divisions. So how your heart beats, how you move, like how your heart rates, either goes up, how your bronchioles dilate for you to be able to breathe well, they are all controlled by this nervous system, which is what the efferent pathway. But the efferent pathway will now bring information telling your lung dilate, because there's some incident and this person is now running. This person needs more oxygen, so the lungs dilate, and they have way of making your lungs dilate. Heart rate go up because this person is running. You need to pump a lot of blood to supply the rest of the body oxygen and nutrients. So the heart rate now goes up because you are running. Now there's a lot of blood supply to body tissues, and the body is able to utilize all of this. But one thing you should know is that all nervous system communication is achieved by what we call a chemical transmitter. Nervous system communicate with each other by what we call chemical transmitter. So they communicate with each other by chemical transmitter. So all nervous system communication to connecting nerves and tissue is achieved by the release of a chemical transmitter. So there's a release of chemical transmitter across a junction we call the synapse. So I'll show you what a synapse is. So the nervous system communication through a chemical transmitter across a junction we call a synapse. These chemical messengers interact with specific surface receptors. So when these chemical messages are released, they communicate with specific receptors. And now we know receptors. We've learned receptors. We said receptors are signal transducing protein. Nervous system communication is achieved by the release of a chemical transmitter across a junction we call synapse. So very soon I'll show you what a synapse is. And these chemical messengers interact with surface receptors on either receiving nerve or tissues. Activation of these receptors is what underlines the observed effect. So what I'm trying to say is, when chemical messengers or when impulses are sent, they get to a junction we call a synapse, and you need a chemical transmitter that will now come in and pass the information from one nerve to the other. And when the information is passed to the other nerve, now it goes to the effector organ, either the muscle, to either tell the muscle to either contract or relax. So this is what I mean. When you look at the diagram on the board very well, you have one neuron over here. So neuron over here. There's a space or a junction. Then another neuron continues. So there's space in between neurons. Two neurons is what we call a synapse. Some books will say a ganglion. So if I may draw something on the board for you to see and appreciate what I am trying to talk about or what I am referring to. You have maybe two nerves. So one nerve carrying information. The other nerve too is there, waiting for the information to know what to do. So these are the effector neurons. Now the information are sent. So now they are bringing information to the organ. The organ can be the heart or the lungs. Now because of maybe a situation, the lungs have to dilate or your heart rate has to go up. Now, so they are bringing you information. Now, we have one nerve here, we have another nerve, and there's a space between the nerves. So the space in between the nerves is what we call a synapse. The space in between the nerves is what we call a synapse. And when informations are coming, they release what we call chemical transmitters. We are going to look at what chemical transmitters are released at the synapse. And when the chemical transmitters are released, they also interact with receptors on the other nerve. So we said information comes, chemical transmitters are released. Chemical transmitters interact with the surface receptors. So there are receptors on the other nerve. So the chemical transmitters will interact with the surface receptors and tell that surface receptor or tell that neuron what information to send. Very soon you are going to get what I am talking about. So a synapse is a space between two neurons or two nerves. So the space between two neurons or two nerves is what we call a synapse. Or some people use ganglion. Now, so if you are reading the notes, then you come across presynaptic. I guess you now know what I mean. Synaptic. Presynaptic. I guess you know what I mean. What does pre mean? Pre means before something. Before something. And I'm telling you that a space between two neurons. So maybe you have one neuron over here, and you have another neuron over here. And they have a space. So the space between two neurons is what we call a synapse. And when you are reading the note, you come across presynaptic. So presynaptic. What are you trying to say? Before a synapse. And postsynaptic means after a synapse. So the space in between here, the space between these two ways or synapse. So we have presynaptic nerve and postsynaptic nerve. So information will be coming from the presynaptic nerve. When it gets to the synapse, they release a chemical transmitter. And if you go back to your nervous system and you study it very well, when it gets to the synapse, there's what we call the two nerves fusing together and it releases what we call a chemical transmitter. So the chemical transmitter will come and interact with a receptor on the postsynaptic nerve. So they interact with the receptor and they will send information. So now the information now gets to the heart. Then they will tell the heart either increase your heart rate or decrease the heart rate. So the information going, they go through so many processes. And one process that we're talking about is when the information gets to the synapse, they release a chemical transmitter, and that chemical transmitter will interact with the surface receptors on the postsynaptic nerve. So let's go back to that previous slide and read and see whether we can recollect. We said these chemical messengers interact with specific receptors on either the receiving nerves or tissue. So this nerve is bringing an information. It gets here, then the chemical messengers will interact with receptors on this nerve and they will send information. Activation of this receptor is what underlies. So when they activate this receptor, informations are sent. So if it's on the heart, information will get to the heart and tell the heart either beat faster or slow down. So this is what I am trying to explain or say over here. Important notice. So we have presynaptic nerve and we have postsynaptic. Other people use pre-ganglionic or post-ganglionic. Maybe for the sake of this lecture, we are going to use this word interchangeably. So when you see pre-ganglionic or presynaptic, just know that we are referring to almost one thing. So presynaptic or preganglionic means before a synapse or a ganglion, and postganglionic after a ganglion. So if you look at this, information will be coming. It gets here, it releases a chemical transmitter. The chemical transmitter now interact with the other chemical transmitters or interact with the surface receptors of the other nerves. So it binds to the other nerve. Then informations are sent. So when informations are sent and it gets to the effector organ, they will tell the effector organ either to activate some organs or inhibit certain organs. And important notice, when we are mentioning epinephrine, in this letter, epinephrine is the same as adrenaline, and norepinephrine is the same as noradrenaline. So when I use other adrenaline or epinephrine, just know that I'm basically saying the same thing. At a point, I can be using adrenaline. At a point, I can use epinephrine. So when you hear epinephrine, just know I'm referring to adrenaline. When you hear adrenaline, just know I'm referring to epinephrine. And same goes for the norepinephrine. Norepinephrine means noradrenaline. Yet I said nerves interact with each other by chemical messengers. So, or chemical transmitters. So what is this chemical transmitter that I am talking about or have been talking about. There are two major chemical transmitters involved in the autonomic nervous system. So this means that the nerves releasing a chemical transmitter. We have two major chemical transmitters involved in the autonomic nervous system. They are what we call acetylcholine. So one chemical transmitter is what we call acetylcholine, and the other one is what we call noradrenaline. So we have acetylcholine and we have what? Noradrenaline. These are the two major chemical transmitters that are released at the autonomic nervous system. So this is what is released at the autonomic nervous system. And just take note, a nerve that releases acetylcholine, so if information is sent and it gets to the presynaptic nerve, let's say it gets here, and the nerve is releasing something we call acetylcholine. If a nerve is releasing acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter, we call that nerve cholinergic nerve. Cholinergic nerve. A nerve that releases acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter is known as what? A cholinergic nerve. And if a nerve releases epinephrine or adrenaline as a neurotransmitter, we call that nerve what? Adrenergic. So along the line, I'll be talking about adrenergic nerve and what? Cholinergic nerve. So when I say a cholinergic nerve, just know that I'm referring to what? A nerve that releases what? Acetylcholine as what? A neurotransmitter. And I said if a nerve too releases what? Adrenaline as a neurotransmitter, we call that nerve what? Adrenergic nerve. So now please let's pay attention to what is on the board. Let's pay keen attention to what is on the board. We have the parasympathetic nervous system and we have the sympathetic nervous system. So by way of drawing, I will say we have parasympathetic. So para has two nerves. Para has two nerves. The sympathetic also has two nerves. And I said we have what? Presynaptic or pre-ganglionic nerve, and we have what? Post-ganglionic nerve. So that's what I want to take note. So the parasympathetic system has two nerves. The sympathetic nervous system also has what? Two nerves. Good. The presynaptic or pre-ganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, the nerve here, the pre-synaptic or what? Pre-ganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system is longer than the pre-ganglionic nerve of the sympathetic nervous system. So that's one difference that you have to know. The presynaptic or pre-ganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system is longer than the pre-ganglionic nerve of the sympathetic nervous system. So good, that's the first thing that I want you to know. So at the autonomic ganglion or at the synapse, parasympathetic nervous system releases acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter. So the preganglionic nerve will release what? Acetylcholine at the synapse. Hello? I am saying that a nerve interacts with each other by what? Chemical transmitters. And I'm saying that there are two major chemical transmitters involved in what? The autonomic nervous system. We have the cholinergic, or we have the acetylcholine and what? Adrenaline. And I said a nerve that releases acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter is known as what? A cholinergic nerve. And a nerve that releases adrenaline or noradrenaline as a neurotransmitter is known as what? Adrenergic nerve. That's what I said. And we got to this diagram. So we have two nerves from the parasympathetic nervous system and two nerves from what? The sympathetic nervous system. And I said a nerve that comes before a synapse is known as what? Pre-ganglionic. And the nerve that comes after a synapse is known as what? Post-ganglionic. So we have pre-ganglionic nerve and what? Post-ganglionic nerve. That's the other thing that you have to also take in mind. Good. And we are going to look at the chemical transmitters that are what? Released. The pre-ganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system releases what? Acetylcholine. So what will you call the nerve? We call the nerve what? Cholinergic. Because we said a nerve that releases acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter is known as what? A cholinergic what? Nerve. So the pre-ganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system releases what? acetylcholine. So we say they are what? A cholinergic what? Nerve. That's the first thing that you have to know. So the preganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system is known as what? A cholinergic nerve. Now, when you look at the sympathetic nervous system too, when you look at the sympathetic nervous system, sympathetic is here. Sympathetic is here. They also release what? Acetylcholine. Sympathetic is here. They are also releasing what? Acetylcholine. So it means the preganglionic nerve of the sympathetic nervous system also releases what? Acetylcholine. So we can also call that nerve what? A cholinergic nerve. So this means that all the nervous system, this means that all the nerves, all the preganglionic nerves of both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system release what? Acetylcholine. So we can call them what? Cholinergic nerves. So it means all the preganglionic nerves of the acetylcholine, or all the autonomic ganglia, or let me read the word, all the preganglionic nerve of the both parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system releases what? Acetylcholine. So they are what? A cholinergic nerves. So that's the first thing that you have to know. And we said these chemical messengers interact with surface receptors. So they are receptors on the preganglionic nerves. So we have some receptors over here. And the receptors on the postganglionic nerves is called as nicotinic what? Receptors. So let's say a chemical like a neuron over here releases acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will interact with a receptor on the postganglionic neuron. And the receptor, the name of the receptor is what? Nicotinic what? Receptors. So when acetylcholine is released at the synapse, it interacts with a receptor of the postganglionic neuron called what? Nicotinic receptors. So they interact with the nicotinic receptors and informations are sent again. Bear in mind, all this is through what? Active potential. We are not going through active potential, but when active potential is generated, there's what? An electrical signal. So when the electrical signal gets into the synapse, because of the electrical signal can't go to the next what? Neuron. So what happens is the electrical signal will cause the release of what? A chemical transmitter, and that chemical transmitter will now convert the electrical signal into what? Chemical signal. So let's say there's an electrical impulse coming here. So when the electrical impulse gets here, there's a release of what we call the chemical transmitters. Acetylcholine. So acetylcholine will now come and let's say will convert the electrical signal into chemical signal. So it will convert and send information to the next neuron. Then the information continues again. I know you'll get it, but don't get yourself confused. Once you grasp the basics, the rest of the lecture is going to be so interesting. So now let's continue. So the preganglionic nerve releases what? Acetylcholine. The same with what? The sympathetic nervous system. They are releasing what? Acetylcholine. When acetylcholine comes, they interact with a receptor. So I said they are going to interact with what? Receptors on the postganglionic what? Nerves. So the name of the receptors over here is what? Nicotinic what? Receptors. So when acetylcholine now binds with nicotinic receptors, please pay attention over here. So when acetylcholine now binds to the nicotinic receptors on the postganglionic nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system. So we are here. So acetylcholine now comes, they bind to these receptors, and when they bind to receptors, information are sent, and the postganglionic nerve will also release another chemical transmitter. So for the postganglionic nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system, they are going to release what we call acetylcholine again. So this means that the preganglionic neuron will release what? Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will bind to nicotinic receptors on the postganglionic neurons. So active potential will be generated again. When it gets to the effector organ, like the postganglionic neuron is going to release what? Acetylcholine again. When it comes to the sympathetic nervous system, the preganglionic neuron will release what? Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will interact with the receptor on the postganglionic neuron. The name of the receptor is what we call what? Nicotinic receptors. When they interact with the receptors, they are going to release what we call what? Norepinephrine. So in a nutshell, in order for you to get what I'm saying and not to confuse yourself that much, let me just summarize this briefly so we can move on. So we have the parasympathetic nervous system. We have the pre. The pre is longer. The pre release what we call acetylcholine. Now acetylcholine will come and interact with another neuron, because we said neurons interact with themselves by chemical messages. So acetylcholine will come and interact with the neuron, and we have a receptor that they interact with, and the name of the receptor is what we call what? Nicotinic receptors. So acetylcholine will now interact with these nicotinic receptors on this nerve, and another information will be sent. So when acetylcholine now gets the effector organ, be it the heart or so, they are also going to release what we call what? Acetylcholine. So that means that the parasympathetic nervous system is what? A cholinergic nerve, because the pre will release acetylcholine and the post will release what? Acetylcholine. Okay. When it comes to the sympathetic nervous system, the pre will release what we call what? Acetylcholine, and acetylcholine will interact with surface receptors called nicotinic receptors, and the post will release what we call what? Norepinephrine. This means that the chemical messages released at the post-ganglionic neuron of the parasympathetic nervous system